So I got a phone call from a woman I know who has wanted to try to get into a relationship with me. It's not going to happen. I'm amazed she's still trying. It's not going to happen. But she's been telling me about my need to settle down. I need to settle down. Does anyone need to settle down? 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. 1-800-5800-866. Rudy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Rudy.
What's up, man? I was listening, this past few minutes, and I'm 29, and I feel like my life is over.
Why?
I used to follow the curriculum to the letter. Tell girls, I don't want to get married, I don't want kids and everything, and they were all over me. And, eventually my confidence just rose, and, of course, the quality of chick I was getting went up, and I got one that I said, all right, this is the one, man, I don't want to mess this up. And sure enough, I let her move in. Dude, I was paying $550 a month, my rent, right? 1 bedroom, all utilities paid. I could do whatever I want, man. I had all the time in the world. And now it's been like 3 years we've been together, and now our second child is 4 months old, and dude, it's so hard. I'm just coming back from the doctor. You know what I'm saying? It's never ending. And I try to take a little vacation to Vegas, and I figure, oh man, maybe I'll have to pay it back when my taxes come in. I'll just enjoy myself, with my buddies. It's his 30th birthday. We'll go have a good time. And luckily, I broke even in Vegas. But thinking about it, that was foolish. I didn't have the money to go to Vegas, and I don't have money for nothing anymore. You know what I mean? I used to have money for parties, for partying, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I could go wherever, do whatever. And now I'm stuck, man. And the next step is getting married. And it's like, oh, dude, I should have listened. I should have just stayed on the curriculum, man.
I know.
It's so hard, bro.
You're paying for it now.
Oh, my God. And I'm glad I can laugh at it, you know what I mean? Because, hey, what else can I do at this point?
But I warned you. I told you.
You had warned me. You voted out word for word what would happen. You were exactly right. You weren't just kind of right, vague, and, a good description. You were right. All 100%.
I'm amazed. I've been married and divorced 4 times. I'm amazed how many people think they know better than I do.
It's people have to experience things for themselves. Luckily my girl is I'm not miserable, you know what I mean? But it's so hard, man. It's really hard. I want people out there to hear what you're saying. You got to get to where you want to be in life before you start making a family and settling down. Don't even the whole girlfriend thing, man. You start with a girlfriend, next thing you know, she's your baby's mama.
Well, not only that, thinking you have to have a girlfriend or thinking that you have to settle down. This thinking is dangerous.
It is, oh, man. And I look at it now, and there was all kinds of, at the time when I met this girl, there was all kinds of girls in my life, old, young, rich, regular, whatever. And, some of them were married, so I figured, whatever, I guess maybe next lifetime, And just the other day, I saw one of these gorgeous executives with the convertible hardtop Mercedes, and man, I knew in the day if she wasn't married, we could have did something. And the other day, she goes, "Hey," I go, "Hey, how's it going?" And I call her by her married name. She goes, "Oh no, it's such and such now." And I go, "Oh, you got married again?" She goes, "No, the other way around." So now she's divorced, giving me that eye, and I'm like, God damn it! What the hell was I thinking, man? Oh, I could have been set, dude. I at least could have milked her a little, or you know what I'm saying?
Right. What? You don't want to have been married to the other person. That wouldn't be any better.
I don't want to be married at all. I just want to, and my girl actually understands that.
Right.
But hey, eventually, the pressure is going to mount, And I love her, but
you don't have to marry her.
Yeah, exactly. There's no benefit. There's zero benefit.
So to forget about the pressure, who cares? You have to put your foot down and say, I'm not getting married, period.
Yeah, that's the way it's got to go, man.
You have to do it that way.
There's no.
It's your way or the highway.
And you know what, man? When I first met this girl, she was so cooperative, and she was always cool and did whatever I want. And now if I do something, you know, that she doesn't approve of, it's a whole new woman. She, you know, I never saw this person inside of her before, you know.
Because she was trying to reel you in.
Exactly.
And now she's got you halfway there. She's already got 3/4 of the coffin nailed down because you've got children and she's moved in. So all she needs to do now is get you to sign the paper, and that box is sealed.
Dude, I'm so lucky that we have a place now. Like, I don't have to stay in that apartment anymore, but considering the fact of what real estate is now, I took over the mortgage on my parents' place, and that is the luckiest thing that ever happened to me, or else I would be crammed in God knows where with 2 kids and my old lady, you know what I mean, miserable at that rate. But, I mean, God, you got to get your life in order before you start making moves like this.
You don't even have to make moves like this.
You don't. You really don't. I mean, I'm happy, but I know I could have a lot more fun if I was single, man. Then
right.
And the word is happier. I could be happier, you know. And
the word is happiest.
I could have been the happiest I could possibly be. But I mean, now if I ever want to get to that point, the level of effort that I got to put in is beyond exhausting.
Compared to what it would have been had you not let some girl talk you into knocking her up.
Oh, man, I remember I always used condoms too. And I remember being with her, right, and she just kind of laying there, whatever. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? What, am I not doing this right or whatever? Right. And, of course, I took the condom off, and the whole situation changed. Was more, you know, she started responding more, and I was like, okay, she just don't like condoms. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why she didn't like condoms.
That's right. You know why.
Oh, God, man. It's just, dude, I swear to you, man. You were right, and I thank you for still being there today, man, because there's got to be somewhere that guys can go to learn about life, because this is what life is. Life is about your choices, and if you want to get to be somewhere of status in life, you got to make all the choices for yourself.
Well, this girl I was talking to said, you just are trying to say it's all about money. It's not all about money. Yes, it is. Marriage is a contract. It's about paying somebody to be in love with you. The cost of love, too much. I'd rather be liked by many for free than loved by one and to have to pay all their expenses. Can't make it any clearer. Thank you, Rudy. This is L on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom?
L.
How are you?
Great.
Great. Well, I just want to say that I don't really think it is all women because...
you don't think it's what? Wait. You don't think it's what?
That not all women are the way you see it.
I didn't say all women are the way I see it. You said that.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't care if all... I don't care. The fact that all women aren't like that doesn't negate what I said.
No, I wasn't listening to the last part that you said because I had to...
All right, well, I'll tell you what. When you listen, call back. Leah on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Okay, well, I wanted to call in and just kind of, I guess, defend you to a certain extent of these people saying, oh, Tom, you should settle down, or if you want it, who's going to be with you at the end. I think it's really unfortunate that in our culture we kind of think that everybody has to get married and everybody has to have children, and there's something, wrong with your life if you don't, because clearly there's something wrong with that pattern. If you look at our divorce rate and the number of children being raised by single-parent families, or, it would be so much better if people didn't necessarily get married or have children if that's not what was right for them or that's not what they wanted.
I think you're right about that.
And it's so frustrating because I know I just got married a couple years ago, and people ask us frequently when we're going to start having children. And first of all, I think it's an out-of-line question. But second of all, I feel annoyed by it. I feel very irritated the fact that we got married. The next thing we're supposed to do is have children. That's not what I want in our life right now. That's not what my husband wants in our life right now. We like our lifestyle right now. And, you know, it's just frustrating, and I feel kind of frustrated on your behalf when people are like, settle down, settle down. Why aren't you settled down being successful in your career and having your nice home in the hills and having fun? I mean, that is settled down, and I feel like people are not getting that.
Unless I'm handing over half of everything I own to a female, I'm not settled down. Exactly, and you know, you can be with someone. You don't even have to be married. You can have a serious, committed relationship without being married. You know, this idea that if you love someone, you must marry them, I think it's really, really flawed and really problematic. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with, you know, long-term monogamy if that's what you want. But it's so ingrained in our society. And, you know, you were saying that marriage is a contract. And really, there is so much pressure on that contract because in a lot of ways, marriage does benefit society in very practical terms in the sense that, you know, if something goes wrong, ideally there's one partner who can take care of the other one. So there's kind of one layer between someone becoming, you know, reliant on the state, for instance. Theoretically, that's at least how it's supposed to work. But the cost of that and the way how often it doesn't work is just not worth people getting married. The cost of love is too high.
I don't know if the cost of love is too high.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
You don't think that any of the big loves in your life were worth it ultimately?
No. Not worth the cost. Not worth the cost, not only in terms of dollars and cents, the cost of my career, the time I lost in my career that I could never get back.
And so you didn't feel that you were fulfilled from those relationships in other ways, though, that kind of compensated for that?
I'm just saying, I think I would have been a lot happier being liked by many than loved by one.
Well, you're right, and I wish people would, and I think that's you, and that's the thing, is people need to accept that not everybody, you know, that people can feel that way, and that there's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way, and that, you know, this isn't just something you need to get over or figure out.
Exactly right.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom. I'm so excited to have gotten through. I'm always trying to call and never getting through.
Well, Leah, you finally pulled it off. Thank you for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
He wanted to live with me, but, you know, the worst thing that he ever did was have me listen to you, because the more I listen to you, the more I realize that he's retarded.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Is it necessary to settle down, huh? This is G. All these one-letter callers now. G. On the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hello, G.
Well, I have the solution to all your marital woes. I've been thinking about this a long time.
Wait a minute. I don't have marital woes.
Well, your non-marital woes. I
don't have woes. Well, I am woe-free.
You want to be married because you've done it 4 times.
No, I don't want to be married. I'm done.
Okay, well, in the event that someday in the future you're planning, I thought this long and hard. I thought it through. And by the way, I teach political science. I actually mention you when we get to the section on the media and we're talking about hate radio. I mention you. So, the rise of media, and I teach political science, so sit right in there. You like that? I thought you would.
I love it. Yes. Yes, I do. Especially when I go to bed tonight making 70 times what you make for a living. I'm going to go to bed saying to myself, well, it's a good thing somebody's keeping me honest.
But you know what, though? It's not about money. And
that's what everybody with money says. It's not about money.
Money doesn't motivate everybody.
Well, when some people know how to make it and some people teach political science.
Well, I do just fine. I'm okay. I really am. It's not,
sure you do.
It's not $1 million, but it's
sure
wonderful.
You do.
Okay, so this is credit people. Well, anyway, do you want to hear my solution?
I don't think you have a solution because I don't have a problem.
Well, here's what I think. The reason that your relationships fail is that some of what you say is true. There's this rational calculation that people make when they're about to date, and so they factor in what they look like and how much education they have or lack of, and then they sort of seek for somebody that matches what they deserve. What they calculate is what they deserve. And you're looking for women that physically match you. And so you're running into women who are just low life because they just want someone with money.
So everyone I married was a low life.
Well, they just want someone with money because if they wanted somebody...
Well, if they wanted somebody with money, why did they sign prenuptial agreements? Why am I not paying them alimony? Why didn't they trick me into pregnancies?
Oh, wow, you're really... You say all women want...
No, I never, ever said all. I never said that. In fact, very specifically, recently on this program, she said bucking, Art. Very specifically on this program recently, I said that I never, ever diss my ex-wives. And I never blame them for anything.
Okay.
Ever.
Well.
I said that if there was ever a fault, it was my own for picking wrong. I have said this, but you, without having all the information, jump right in and tell me you're going to solve my problems. I don't have any problems. The problem is not the people I married. The problem is getting married.
No, it's not. There's lots
yes,
of I'm married.
It is.
You know what? Marriage is not for everybody, and I agree with you.
Marriage is not for men.
But let me tell you this, someday, and I know someone who was a wonderful guy, but he, did all this, he used to call it hit and run. He would just sleep with women and leave them. And then at 50 years, he was classic. He's a professor, too. This is my mentor professor. And he used to say, hit and run, and that's it. And guess what? 58 years old, he had a diabetic stroke, and he was paralyzed. And I used to drive him back and forth to school. And this was a very sad guy. I mean, extremely sad because he had no one. If he loved someone and they grew old with him, they would take care of him, even when he had a diabetic stroke. So that's what I'm thinking of for you, that you need someone for when you get old.
Trust me, when you've got money, you've got all the best help in the world.
Nah, it's not out of love. It's out of,
Trust me, many people who appear to be doing something out of love are trying to get into your will, or they're trying to get something else from you.
See, what you don't get is that there are a lot of people that aren't that way.
Oh, there may be some people who are that way, but the vast majority of them are not people who marry you. People who marry you have an agenda, and that is to share in everything you got.
I don't want anything my husband has. If we, God forbid, left each other today, he could have everything that we've even gotten together.
You say that now until you find his face between the thighs of your best friend, and then we'll see if you say that.
Oh, he would never do that, but even if he did...
He would never do that.
He would never do. My husband, you know what? Sometimes I wish he would.
Really? Why don't we hook that up?
No, stop it. He wouldn't do it. He loves our daughter, and he loves our family too much to do that. It's not like... I'm sure there are times he wishes he could, but he just wouldn't. People are...
Really? Is your best friend hot?
Probably not, no. But anyway, it's beside the point. The point is that... you just have to make better choices. You're right. If you've said that, then you're absolutely right. You have to.
No, it's not that I need to make better choices. I made a better choice. No marriage.
Okay, fine. And
that's a better choice.
It's not for everybody.
These are the happiest days of my life. These are the good old days.
They are. You know what? I look back at my single days, and they were fun, too. But
these are the happiest days of my life.
But you know what? You don't have a baby. And once you have a baby...
No.
Look at David Letterman.
I don't care about David Letterman. And by the way...
Have you ever seen a guy so giddy?
I don't care about David Letterman. It doesn't matter. David Letterman is one person.
Well, he's got that swell kid, and once you have a kid, it's all worth it.
Well, that's assuming your son isn't named Adolf Hitler or Osama bin Laden. You don't know what. You are playing roulette of a kind that it's a lot worse than going to Vegas where you just lose a few bucks. If you lose at the kid lottery, you are stuck.
No. You will not lose. It's so
No,
random.
you will not lose. He will not be born with birth defects. He will not be born with his brain on the outside of his head. No, he won't be born retarded. He won't be born with special needs.
Oh, well, yeah,
his name won't be Special Ed.
Oh, okay, no, that is a different story.
It's roulette. You are betting on the red or the black.
No,
you have no idea what you're going to get.
Amniocentesis. There's a protein test you take at 2 months.
Again, if that were true, there wouldn't be any children like that being born.
No, people don't choose to abort them if they're retarded, and I don't think they should anyway. But the point is, if you're
there you
really
go. That's my point.
If you're really that against it, then
suddenly you're the parent of a retarded child, and suddenly your whole life has turned into you being a caretaker.
Look, I know people, there are women that will not have a retarded baby. If you talk to them, they'll tell you, before I got married,
I will not have a retarded baby either. I had an uncle who was retarded. I know what it's like to be around that. I know.
It's
now, there are some people who think it's just wonderful, and retarded people are just so cute, and it's so great. But you haven't lived until you're with somebody who's 15 years old, who has a mentality of somebody who's 15 years old, like my uncle.
Yeah.
And to see him, and just to give you an example of what it's like to live around this, to see him just freely hop into bed and masturbate in plain sight of everybody anytime he felt like it. Boy, that's rewarding. I'll tell you what. You know, in those movies about Forrest Gump and Rain Man, they never tell you that retarded people do stuff like that.
No, I know. You know what? I used to substitute teach, and some of the little Down syndrome girls would just start masturbating in class. And some of the
there we go. Boys, that's great.
The boys would grab your ass as you.
Oh, well, that sounds very rewarding.
Oh, it was horrible. No, but you know what?
I'm avoiding all of this.
The issue is if you don't avoid it, and you get a wonderful, healthy.
Who knows what you're going to get? You rolled the dice. You won the lottery. Somebody's going to win the big spin this Saturday night. It just probably won't be me.
Well, you never know. You could have a delightful child. And let me tell you, the most horrible woman in the world is worth living with for a child.
Whatever it is, you have to teach it to wipe its ass. And you know what? I have no interest.
Well, Tom, it was nice talking to you.
I'm sure it was. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello to Mark on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. Dallas, Texas loves you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to have to keep this short. That lady was just on the phone and talked too long, and I'm going to have to jump off. But I just wanted to say I didn't start listening to you until after I got married, unfortunately. I do love my wife, but we thought we had it pretty much figured out. She wanted to have kids. I agreed with it, so we went along with the whole process. And
now, listen to what you just said. She wanted to have kids, and I agreed with it.
Sure. So, long story short, I got in the cup, and I was fine, but we went into the doctor, and the doctor said she had a less than 1% chance of conceiving naturally. So, short of spending $30,000 on in vitro, we were like, thought about it and said, hey, you know what, this is a good thing. This is going to be, we're going to be able to do a lot more things, and you know, we both have siblings, you know, with kids. This isn't a big deal. It's going to be awesome. Well, we're traveling. Everything's going great. You know, we're getting our careers off the ground. And then she becomes pregnant. So, long story short, you know, he's 2. He's fantastic. He's the love of our lives. But sometimes we just look at each other and we're just like, what are the chances, man? Because, I mean, there's so much stuff that we still want to do. And, I mean, it's going to take a long time until we get around to doing it. So, I mean, it's kind of pluses and it's negatives, but, I mean, like I said, we both love our son, but, man, there's times that we just, you know, we're like, hey, you know, it could have turned out a little bit differently, so. So I'm just saying, I mean, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I mean, we thought we had it figured out, that we weren't going to have kids, and everything was going in that general direction of, you know, living life and being young and, you know.
Now suddenly you have to be boring and responsible all the time.
Exactly. There's no more, can't stay in and sleep until noon. You're up at,
oh, yeah, you can.
6:30.
I just did it.
Well, I know you can, Tom, but unfortunately for some of us, those days are going to be.
It was that one last thrust. That's why I feel like crap today.
I know. I guess that's what it is. I guess less than 1%, still a chance. So see that.
Thank God I got blackout shades.
All right, Tom. Well, like I said, I got to keep it short since that chick was talking so long. But next time we're down in Dallas, everybody down here loves you.
I love that, Mark. Thanks very much for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
What was that
Were you
again?
not listening to me, sir?
I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Well, I couldn't hear a word that you were saying either.
I see. That's great. I like the level of discourse here. It's fantastic.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
From Hollywood, the Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Rusty on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. First of all, thanks so much for taking my call today.
I'm doing it as a public service.
Well, I know you are, sir. Second of all, I owe you an apology, Tom.
Why is that?
Well, Tom, let me tell you. So I moved out here from back east about 2.5 years ago.
Out here.
Moved out here to Santa Barbara. Was with this girl for about 2.5 years.
By the way, it took less than 20 seconds to say he moved out here from back east. He was not specific, which means he probably wasn't coming from New York. It's probably somewhere like New Jersey or Connecticut or somewhere that isn't New York. But he had to get it in the first 20 seconds of the call.
South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Yes, sir.
I knew it wasn't New York.
No, not New York.
I didn't know people in South Carolina also call it out here.
That's right. Well, Tom, so recently got dumped. Thought my girl was different than all the girls you talked about on your show.
Yeah, well.
Like I said, I owe you an apology.
You certainly do.
Well, I've since stocked my fridge full of beer and plan on jumping right back on as many horses as I can.
Well, Rusty, I hope you'll learn from your experience and not make the same mistakes again.
Yes, sir, you know it.
All right.
Well, Tom, thanks very much, and have a good day, sir.
Thank you, Rusty. Enjoy your time out here. Before you go back there. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Jason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Hey, it's going okay.
And I do care, my man. You are the man. I'm sorry I called, an hour ago, which is great because everyone loves to eat in the restaurant that everyone's going to. But I got to get to class here in about 10 minutes. I'm at UNLV. We had a girl, Leah, I think her name was, that called. And the key thing that she called about was, wasn't your love worth it? Even though, it's all over now. No, it wasn't. And you're the type of girl that breaks up with the guy and says that after because, it was worth it, wasn't it? No, because when we walked in on you riding our best friend, I'm sorry, that wasn't the good part of my relationship.
Oh, boy.
Dude, I'm in my third year of college now, and I'll tell you what, I follow the 101, and it's all, I wish I would have heard it before. Man, I had the girlfriend in high school, 2.5 years, prom night. I got to go out at the after party and see her on top of a guy in his truck.
Love that.
Oh, yeah. That was actually the best self-esteem builder I ever had.
Of course, what do I tell people about the prom?
Oh, I don't know. I've missed that.
I tell men, do not go to the prom.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, we know that now. We know not to take them out, not to spend more than $40. I'll tell you what, that whole night cost me over $600.
Was it worth it?
Oh, well, for the story that I get to tell on the air today, absolutely.
That and that alone.
And that's about it. I am most notably known in college for the best prom story and a whole lot more, but, I mean, people still remember that. People still remember the girl's name. Oh, by the way, we're in Vegas. Guess what profession she chose?
She riding the pole?
She is absolutely, no joke, a stripper down at Little Darlings.
There we go.
That's just where they grow up, man.
I guess so. Jason, thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Dennis on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Dennis.
Hey, first of all, very long time listener, over 10 years.
Wow.
I started listening to you back in L.A., 97.1, but I'm here now in Las Vegas, same as the other caller. And, yeah, second of all, I want to thank you because I DTB.
Very nice.
Today.
How'd that go? How did she react?
Well, you know, she gave me the sob story that, you know, she doesn't think she could make it, and she doesn't think she could live without me and all that. So, but, yeah, I broke some rules. You know, I had a girlfriend, but after weighing things, the pros and cons of a relationship, I told myself there's really nothing for me, you know, to get into a serious relationship like that. And, I called in because I wanted to point out that, you know, most of these women think settling in and, you know, having a family, having children and all that is a wonderful thing, that you're doing, you know, something for the society, and it's a good thing to do.
Just remember this. They don't call it settling for nothing.
Well, you know, most women, they think, actually, some of them tell you that because you don't have a family, you don't have babies, that they think you're selfish. Well, actually, I think they don't realize that they're the selfish ones. They're having babies for selfish reasons, you know?
In many cases, that's true, Dennis. Thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Tyler, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Okay, Tyler.
Okay, well, I've been listening, you know, for the last hour or so, and I was trying to think of what would move women to say the things that they do and act the way that they do. And I've come up with a theory in my head, and that theory is the fact that when they were little girls, they were told fairy tales about princes and kings and everything like that, and how that's exactly what they were shooting for. They were shooting to find Prince Charming, and they needed to find him as soon as they possibly could. And I think it's a bunch of BS because they've been fed a bag of lies their entire life, and I have too. I think what they should have done is they should have told fairy tales for how it actually is. About the king who slays dragons every day and then goes home and beds the most supple virgin in all the land, and then at the end of the night sends her back to her village.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I guess the only true thing that goes along with fairy tales is the fact that once they become the queen or the princess, is that they end up poisoning the king or they end up stabbing him in the back so they can inherit his wealth. Everything that he has earned. That's it. That's really the only true part about it. So I think I'm going to make an honest effort to become a fairy tale writer, and I'm going to title it Fairy Tales for How You Should Actually Raise Your Kids. And I think we can probably get rid of a lot of myths, and women will know exactly what the score is. They'll know that they have to be a very good-looking, supple virgin in order to be even in the graces of the king for a very short period of time.
Sounds good to me, Tyler. Thank you for the call. Gene on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Mr. Leykis, how
yes,
you doing?
Doing great.
Mr. Leykis, we miss you here in Seattle, man. I got a story for you, man. That just happened maybe over the last 4 hours. This chick that I was dating about a year ago, me and her, we did our thing and all that great stuff. And she didn't get what she wanted, a ring, a marriage, and someone to take care of her. Access denied. She get married. She called me up about maybe a week ago. I didn't call her back when she called me. And today, this morning, she called me again. Tom, she came over here, shot down toward me, drank some vodka. And Tom, I nailed her. If you could have heard the things that she was saying.
Really?
Yeah, Tom, I kid you not. Do you miss this? Do you miss that? I'm like, yeah, okay, right. Tom, We played darts for about an hour, and she drank half a bottle of vodka.
I love that.
I nailed her, and she said, "Thank you, I miss you."
How great is that?
Tom, I'm still the same dog that I was before you left Seattle, man.
Thank you.
Things ain't changed. You are the man.
Gene, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Sharon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Tom, I listen to you a lot when I'm stuck in traffic.
Keep it up.
I will, don't worry, because the traffic is sure going to keep up. But I have a question for you. I was wondering if you were to find a woman, let's say, that was very, very attractive, but she was also extremely intelligent, would you be willing to, quote-unquote, settle down with her?
Why would I need to settle down with anyone?
Because perhaps it is interesting to be with someone who's both attractive and intelligent. I'm wondering if a woman is intelligent as well as attractive, does that turn you on?
Not particularly, but the thing is, if you are not married and you don't settle down with anyone, when you feel like being with somebody like that for an evening, you can be. And the vast majority of the time, when you just want to get laid, you can be with that kind of woman.
Okay, but I'm asking you personally.
I'm answering personally.
Intelligence a turn on?
I don't find it a turn on, no.
And why is that?
Because I'm like any other man. I'm visual.
So you don't need a woman to communicate with. You don't want someone who can sort of challenge you intellectually.
No, I'm not looking for my sex partner to challenge me intellectually. I like being challenged intellectually by friends, at parties, at trade conventions of the broadcasting business. Love it at those times, and that's where it belongs. I love getting into it with callers on the radio, but I don't want to get into it with the person I have to then have sex with.
But that person that you have sex with then has to spend the evening with you in bed. And you often
They don't have to. I will towel off and get the hell out of there. They don't have to be there.
Okay. Do you ever take women out? Do you ever
I try to avoid that
in public?
I try to avoid that unless they're paying.
Okay. So pretty much you find intelligent women a turn off. Would you be willing to say that? No, it's not that they're a turn off. It's just simply that the minute they start opening their yap about something, other than opening their yap for the most obvious and necessary reason, then I start losing interest in sex with them. Well, that's a shame, because I think that they can be both.
Well, I know you think that, but you don't date women, so I don't think you really know.
I suppose that is a fair assessment. However, I believe that you were burned by someone, and as a result...
Every man listening to this show was burned by someone. There's nothing unique about it.
So you admit that? You think that the reason that you are the way you are is you were burned by someone that you really cared about?
Every man is the way he is because every man has had someone stick the knife in and twist it.
So you think that they express this sort of behavior because they feel really bitter towards women?
Not bitter. It's just that they become realistic. And what is realistic...
I think realistic is jaded when it's coming from you.
Well, being jaded, I think, is a realistic point of view. Especially if you're a guy.
The Tom Leykis Show.